Hey there, Wall Street winners. It is Wednesday, April the 10th, pre-market, and we have just received a report that the U.S. Consumer Price Index data, CPI data, came in hotter than expected in the month of March. So that is putting some pressure on the futures, and what were green on the screen now have gone to red on the screen from a futures perspective and took a dip, although oddly enough not reflected here. So not sure what's going on with that app, but that is putting some downward pressure on things that were green on the screen going into the 8:30 print of the CPI data are now turned red. So we had a lot of green here previously in the retail and health. That's all turned red. The only potential upside here is oil, because crude is up significantly on the day, and crude is part of the non-core element. Food and oil or gas prices are part of the non-core, so that is not included in the CPI print. But that's actually what most people look to kind of make their judge of inflation, is the cost at the gas pump when filling up their car if they're not driving an EV, and food prices, which have risen significantly over the last little while. So what we're seeing here from an opportunity perspective is probably a great opportunity to pick up some stocks that are taking a bit of a plunge today and correcting a little bit, because this is a short-term data point. It's one of many data points, and sometimes there is some overreaction in the markets when a data point like this is released. So it should be interesting, it should be interesting to see when these things open. I probably wouldn't buy anything on the open immediately, but I would be looking to see what happens within the first 15 to 30 minutes of open. So between 9:30 and 10 a.m. And some of the stocks that I might consider focusing on here would be those that have earnings announcements on Friday. So that would include the likes of Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, and I believe Citibank also announces Friday. And if you think there are some good companies, some strong companies in that collective, and others that report on Friday, then you might be able to pick them up at a discount. And if they come in with good earnings, you might be able to make some money on it. So yesterday, as an example, we saw, and here's the drop at 8:30 that you can see in the case of JP Morgan. But if we look back to the 5-day, yesterday we saw that JP Morgan dropped down about $3-4 at the open, and then recovered slightly into the remainder of the day. So it was a great buying opportunity here to pick up some JP Morgan in the 195 range, and then you could have dumped it in the 196, even high 196 range, and made a tidy little percentage profit there, and then having been exited out of that and in cash with the announcement this morning that obviously went in a direction that wasn't favorable, but is in a short-term perspective, you can now buy in at a price that may be lower than what you exited at yesterday. So this is an opportunity. We just have to look to where we want to make strategic acquisitions, and most of the financials are going to announce in the next couple of weeks. So might be a good buying opportunity for some of these different companies. So that's what I'm going to be following today for the most part. I'm also going to be following oil, probably going to be staying away from tech overall, but maybe not, depending on what happens there in different positions. And we'll see what's gonna happen. If crude continues to escalate, I think that oil will recover. So there may be an opportunity within oil to buy initially at open on the dip and see a bit of a recovery into the late morning, early afternoon. That said, the market and the indexes could continue to slide all day long, which is not unheard of. And it may be better to just sit on the sidelines depending on your risk appetite. So I'll leave that up to you based upon your investment philosophy and framework, and wish you the best today in the market.